Social Security spousal benefits. What can I get from my spouse or my ex-spouse while they're still alive? I've heard a lot. I've heard you can get half, or you can get theirs and switch, or something like that. And today we're going to get rid of the confusion and talk specifically about getting spousal benefits from your current or ex-spouse. Tony Shore is in the house. Tony, welcome to the show. We're talking about spousal benefits, and I believe that you'll be the first to say that there are huge benefits to having a spouse, particularly for you. There's financial benefits to having a spouse, for being a layabout, and there's also
Oh,
benefits to having someone to listen to your silly stories besides me. So today we're
Dan.
talking about Social Security
Dan, you
spousal
can't just keep
benefits.
going and not give me a chance to respond to all that. First of all, layabout, really? I mean, what are we talking about here? And wait, there are benefits to having a spouse? Oh yeah, actually, I'd probably be dead in a ditch somewhere if it weren't for my wife. She's a lifesaver, literally and figuratively. So I can't complain, that's for sure. But we're talking about Social Security spousal benefits. And no, Dan, I'm not a layabout.
Well, you have been married for 10 years. So you would get
More than 10.
so you right, at least 10. So you still qualify for spousal benefits if your wife decides to get smart. But I'll put the show up there about ex-spouse when we do shows on that. But let's begin by saying rules have changed. 2015, the rules changed. And can you believe that's 8 years ago? Do you remember talking about when they changed the rules on file and suspend and restricted application?
I remember we talked about it quite a bit.
Right, because I was doing a lot of seminars on the topic. This is before we were doing the video podcast, but we do podcasts on it. And the bottom line is a lot of the cool features have changed. And so when you're getting advice from a parent, oh, my mom did this, or my uncle did this, or friends that have claimed already, don't listen, because the rules are different now. And it's getting to the point now where a lot of the people that are starting to be eligible for Social Security are born 1960 or later. So they don't even know about these rules because they weren't thinking about it in their 50s. But keep in mind that the new rules are what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and keep this simple because this seems to be the most confusing topic for people, the spousal benefit. They get confused as to what they're eligible for. But the key is a spousal
Hi.
benefit.
She's having Social Security problems.
They do. People have Social Security problems. And it's based on the language here. Spousal benefit is if your spouse is alive, whether it's a current spouse or ex-spouse. Survivor benefits when they're dead. So we're not talking about what happens if you lose a spouse to death or an ex-spouse to death. Separate show on that. Go watch it if you want. If your ex-spouse is dead or your current spouse has passed away. We're talking alive, all right? So spousal benefits. And here's the key. The max that you can get from a spousal benefit is 50% of your spouse's primary insurance amount, PIA. Do you even remember what PIA stands for? What primary insurance amount means, Tony? Do you remember?
Sure. Yeah, I do. I
What
do
is it?
remember. Your primary insurance amount is the amount you're going to receive each month once you hit your full retirement age.
Got it. You got it. Ding, ding, ding. Correct. That's your full retirement age amount. So the max spousal benefit is equal to half of what your higher earning spouse, whatever their full retirement age benefit is. So if Tony, your Social Security benefit is zero or $500 because you never really put in, maybe you're a 1099 worker, maybe you were a stay-at-home parent, whatever it might be, your record's not as strong as your spouse. The most you can get is half of what your spouse will get at their full retirement age. That's the most you can get. And so people think, oh, I'm going to get my spouse's. No, you're not getting all of it. You're getting half. And that's only if you follow the rules. To get the max spousal benefit, you yourself have to be your full retirement age. So you can't be 62 and your spouse is their full retirement age benefit is a $2,000. You can't be 62 and get 1,000. You
Okay.
can't get half at 62.
You have to be 66 or 67 or whatever your full retirement age is. But let me stop you there just to clarify for myself and the listeners. What you're talking about right now is getting a spousal benefit while both you and your spouse are alive.
Correct. Right. So it's not survivor benefit. It's
Right.
still alive.
Okay.
The other caveat, which changed in 2015, much to the chagrin of many, is that your spouse has to file for their own benefit for you to get the spousal benefit. So you can't get half of your spouse's benefit, even if you're at your full retirement age, until they have filed themselves.
And that's a
It can't be
change.
delayed.
That's new.
Yes, that's right. There used to be that, oh, okay, you need half of mine. I'm going to file and then suspend, and then you can claim, or I'm going to, something like that.
They took away the
eliminated that.
file and suspend. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So, two things to get the full 50%. You have to be your full retirement age, 67 for most people now, and your spouse has to be filing. Okay. So, let's talk about reduction, because
Sure.
not everyone's going to get the full amount. Dan, I don't want to wait till my full retirement age to claim. Well, if you claim early, you're going to get a reduction, just like you would on your own. Your benefit's going to be reduced if you file before your full retirement age. So, as an example, let's say you're born in 1960 or later, and you claim at 62, which is the earliest you can claim on your own benefit. It's also the earliest you can claim on a spousal benefit if you're not disabled. You would get 32.5% of your of the spouse's full retirement age benefit for life. You're locked in. 32.5% of the spousal benefit. So, okay, my wife makes 2,000. Her full retirement age benefit is 2,000. I want 1,000. I'm 62. Nope, I'm only going to get 32.5% of 2,000, or something like $700. So, not ideal. Not ideal. So, here's the thing that trips people up. They just don't understand what the rule changed in 2015. If you want a spousal benefit, you first have to claim your own. This is what's fundamentally happening. Whenever you're getting a spousal benefit, whether it's from your ex-spouse or your current spouse who's alive, you're claiming your own first, and then you're getting what I call a step up to the spousal benefits. We'll use an example. Tony, your full retirement age benefit is $500 because you didn't work, right? Your spouse's benefit is $3,000. So you're like, I'm getting half of that. I want $1,500. Let's say you're now your full retirement age and you're like, give me my $1,500. What you're going to do is you're going to first make sure your spouse is filed, because if they're not, you're not getting it.
Right.
Let's imagine that happened. Let's say your spouse is younger than you, 66, and you're 67. You're like, I want half. I want half. So you go to claim half, and they say, you know what, Tony? You want a spousal benefit? First, we're giving you your own, which is $500. Here's your $500. Now, we're going to give you a spousal step up if you qualify. Do you qualify? Your spouse's full retirement age benefit is $3,000. Sounds like you qualify. Are they filed? No. You're getting $500, and you still get $500 until your spouse files. And you might say, well, my wife's going to wait until she's 70. Then you're going to wait till you're 70. Then she's 70 before you get that spousal step up. So you'll be 71 when you go from $500 a month to the $1,500 a month, plus the cost of living.
Sure.
Make sense?
Yeah. So what you're saying, though, spousal benefits are really only beneficial if your Social Security for yourself would be less than half of your spouse's.
Yes. See, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, I want to take my spousal benefit, let mine roll up, and then switch to my own later. Doesn't work like that. You have to
Can't do
file
it.
for your own.
Yeah.
And the only time you're going to get a spousal step up is if yours is less than half of your spouse's. That's the problem. A lot of people think, oh, my spouse is getting $2,200. Mine's only $1,200. I'm going to get a step up to $2,200. No, you'll get a step up to half of $2,200, which is less than yours. So you don't get a step up at all. You get nothing. You just get your own.
Right. At that point, you get your own. Sure.
Yeah. Now let's take this a step further, though. Let's say some common questions I get about this is, okay, well, I don't want my spouse to claim benefits yet. I want them to delay, but I want half of theirs. You can't do that anymore. So you have to wait, like I said. So you can't get a step up unless your spouse is filing. What if it's an ex-spouse? Different story. We talked about that in the previous show. And I said there are a lot of ex-spouses that will be sinister or just they want to delay so they don't open the window. The government allows for ex-spouses to not have to wait for their ex-spouse to file in order to get the spousal benefit. So as long as they're eligible, meaning they have to be 62, your ex-spouse has to be 62 for you to get a spousal benefit. Once they hit 62, they don't have to be claiming in order for you to get spousal benefits, because that's just, you can't force an ex-spouse to claim. Not to say that you can't force your current spouse to claim either, but at least you can have the negotiation
Right.
on reasonable terms, theoretically.
Right. Sure.
So that's the big one. A spouse must file for their own for you to claim the spousal benefit based on theirs. Huge problem that causes for people that are delaying or want to delay the
Yeah.
higher earner spouse.
I wasn't
Usually,
aware of that rule, but I guess that was different, but it changed. Yeah.
It changed. You used to be able to file and then immediately undo it, and then you open the window for your spouse. Can't do that anymore. That was the file and suspend. So that was a biggie that people, so the other rule that I did want to mention is if you get divorced, you have to wait 2 years in order for you to start claiming the spousal benefit from that ex, unless they file. If they file, then you could do it. But if they are delaying, you still have to wait that 2-year period. So there could be
Okay.
a problem for people getting divorced in their 60s to that.
Sure.
So again, this is a confusing topic for people, not because necessarily the concept is confusing. Getting half of the ex-spouse or the current spouse is confusing. It's just because the rules have changed. And one more little question that I get, or common misconception, is, well, okay, I want half of my spouse, but what if they claimed at 62? Do I get half of what they're getting, the reduction? Or by the same token, let's say my spouse doesn't waits until 70. Do I get half of what they would get at 70, or do I get half of what they get at their full retirement age, which was 4 years ago, say? The answer is you get half of their full retirement age benefit.
Oh.
So if they claim early, you still would get half of their full retirement age benefit if you wait till your full retirement age. If they wait till 70 to claim, you don't get those delayed retirement credits. They do.
Oh.
They do. And you'd get it as a survivor benefit, but not as a spousal benefit. You're maxed out at half of their full retirement age, regardless of when they claim it.
Got it. That's a
And,
big one. That's an important point that I think people would miss or not understand.
Right. Because think about it. If you're going to get 3,300 at 67, but if you wait till 70, you're going to get 4,300. You're like, that's a big bonus for me. And plus my spouse is
Yeah.
going to get half of that extra. That's an extra 500 my spouse would get. Doesn't work that way.
Right.
They are maxed out at your full retirement age benefit. Half of it. Half of your spouse's full retirement age benefit.
Wow.
So it works both ways. You don't get those delayed retirement credits. You don't get the discount if they take early.
Sure.
God bless Social Security.
Indeed. So spousal benefits are limited to 50% of the higher earners, full retirement age benefit, no more. And these benefits are designed to help people that don't work or that are lower earners. And a lot of times you're trying to work off of each other. So just know that the rule is now you can't claim unless your spouse is claiming. You can't get spousal unless the spouse is claiming. It's terrible, but it's the new rule. And know that you can't take a spousal benefit and switch to your own later. You can only take a spousal benefit by taking your own first. They go together simultaneously. They can't be bifurcated at all. So, and it's a lifetime decision. So once you claim that spousal benefit,
You're locked in.
you're locked in. You're locked in. If you claim it at 62 and you're getting 32.5% of it, you're locked in. Although there's one little extra point. Let's say you claim, Tony, you claim your spousal benefit at 62. Well, no, it wouldn't work. No, because they have to claim. Let's use the reverse. Let's say you're the older than your wife, okay, and
Okay.
you're full retirement age, and you claim a spousal benefit, but she's not yet claimed. She's not yet filed. So you would get your own, and then you would switch. You would step up to a spousal benefit when she finally claims. So I think I made that point earlier, but it's important to note. If you claim your own and you're not eligible for spousal benefit because your spouse hasn't filed, you'll get your own. And then when they finally do file, you'll get that step up. Just make sure you call the Social Security office and say, hey, my wife just finally filed. I'd like that step up now. And they'll give you the increase at that point.
Awesome.
Again, as always, though, it's a lifetime decision, very important decision, and is the foundation for retirement income planning. So if you have questions about Social Security, like the video and comment, and someone from the office will usually get back to you on the comments section in YouTube. But you can always go to dolphinfinancialgroup.com and request to talk to one of us, and we'll give you the full Social Security maximization report at no charge. We will answer your questions at no charge. The idea is to get people to make better financial decisions about Social Security so that the other bigger, broader discussions are easier to make. Because if you make a mistake with Social Security, picking up the pieces is really tough, right?
Yeah.
So we want people to make the right decision about Social Security first. So we offer that advice at no charge.
All right. Well, great show today, Dan.
Last
Important
question for you,
topic.
Tony.
Okay.
Do you work for Social Security office?
No.
Neither do I. So keep that in mind, everybody. Have a good week, and we'll catch you next time.
All matters discussed in today's show are for informational purposes only.
This show is not investment advice.
Dan Riddle nor Dolphin Financial Group are affiliated or endorsed by any government agency.
Investment advisory services are offered through Dolphin Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor in the state of Florida.
Insurance products and services are offered through Dolphin Insurance, Inc.
Dolphin Wealth Management, Inc. and Dolphin Insurance, Inc. are affiliated companies doing businesses as Dolphin Financial Group.
You should talk to someone at Dolphin Financial Group before implementing any of these strategies or ideas.